2 months ago, I asked you guys to recommend me manga to read for a video, and I did not expect to receive so many manga recommendations, I'll be honest. This video idea was inspired by Alex, and I feel like I need to explore more manga outside of shonen, so that's the whole purpose of this video. Also, I've been working on this video for about a month now, so if you appreciate all the effort that I put into this, then please hit that like button for me. One mistake I made when asking you guys to recommend me manga is that I did not specify any rules, besides no freaking hentai, bro. So a lot of people recommended me multiple manga, and it overlapped with other people's recommendations. So I had to make an Excel sheet to track all of you guys' recommendations, and it came up to 41 in total, even after getting rid of the doubles. But some basic rules, if you guys watched my last one, is that I'll only read the first few chapters, so this video isn't a day long, and I'll give it a rating out of 10. If the manga is trash, then I'll be honest, bro, and you'll get banned from the Fairy channel for life. But if it's good, I might read more chapters on my free time and give that bad boy a 10 out of 10. Also, everyone who recommended me something will get a shout out, so if you want to be in the next one, then go recommend me some good manga down below. And finally, before we start, if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel because we're just having fun around here being nerds, and like the video for the amount of effort I put into these, please. But yeah, hopefully I get some good recommendations and not hentai or some straight garbage, bro. Let's go. First manga recommended to me is called Usogui, written by Sato Toshio. This was recommended to me by Brodafaq and Joseph Studio 3006. And these guys are not the first to recommend this to me, so I'm hoping it's a banger. Let's give it a read. This manga was amazing. I had to stop myself from reading further to make this video. That's how good it was, and it's literally right up my alley. Usogui follows our protagonist Madarame Baku, and he's helping a random guy pay off his 2 million yen debt. All this random guy did was tell Baku that he won on a slot machine and where to get the money. He earned Baku's respect just because he didn't try to lie and steal his money. Anyways, Baku helps this guy win big time in an illegal casino using straight math and logic, and then it's revealed that we aren't following a normal gamble. No. This man somehow survived losing Russian roulette, and he's nicknamed the Lie Eater. Amazing art as well, bro. Like, very engaging story. This manga gets an easy 8.5 out of 10. W first recommendation. The next manga is called The next manga is called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, and it was written by Tsukasa Fushimi. Snowconewater recommended me this one. Honestly, I'm scared that it's going to be something bad because the title does not look promising, bro. And I don't feel like editing in a blur because YouTube will literally take this entire video down. If YouTube takes this video down, guys, blame Snowconewater. Anyways, let's give it a read. Okay, so Snowconewater is in the clear, but this manga is still weird, bro. So basically, we're following our main character, Kosaka, who is 17 years old. Make sure to keep that in mind. And he has a younger sister named Karina, who is 14 years old. Very important, keep that in mind, their ages. So Kosaka never really had a good relationship with his younger sister, but he found out that she was secretly an otaku. So he tried to bond with his sister by becoming an otaku himself and joining the otaku club at his school. In doing this, he met one of his younger sister's friends and started to fall in love with her. Please process that, guys. And if it wasn't obvious enough, let me give you a better summary of what I just read. Bro started falling for a girl that reminded him of his sister, and to top it all off, she's also 14 years old. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10. Snowconewater, you're banned from the channel, bro. You gotta redeem yourself with a better recommendation, brother. One that is not possibly incest. Finally what seems to be a normal recommendation, bro. HMM, I'm not making a sound, recommended that I read Ajin, Demi-Human, written and illustrated by Sakurai Gaman. Let's go. Not gonna lie, this was actually really refreshing to read. We follow our main character Kain, and he's going about his life trying to become a doctor. In this world, there's a new species on Earth called Demi-Humans, and they're exactly like humans in every way, except for the fact they're immortal and regenerate really fast. There are only about 46 known Demi-Humans in the world, and only 2 in Japan, so they're being heavily sought after, and whoever catches one will pretty much be rich and powerful. So with all that being said, my boy Kain then gets ran over by a truck and finds out that he's a Demi-Human himself, and a bunch of people saw him get up, so now he's on the run because everyone wants to get him. Even the Japanese government is after this guy. He eventually just goes under a tree, and he doesn't know who to call except for his one childhood friend that they used to bully and call him a Demi-Human, and his name is Kai. And guys, Kai is such a W man. get a friend like this. Bro just says, don't worry, I got you, and saves bro, even though he was bullied. This was really good read so far, so solid 8 out of 10. The next manga we have is called Homunculus, written and illustrated by Hideo Yamamoto. This was recommended to me by Q2 Sniper, shout out to you. A lot of people have recommended me to read this manga, and I even saw it as a bestseller in my local Barnes & Noble, so I have high expectations here. Let's see. Out of freaking 10, bro. This is by far one of the most interesting manga I have ever read, like literally, and it fits right up my alley because I love that psychological and like darkest twist. I mean, from the art to the plot, everything was just so interesting to me. I won't get too into detail because I want you guys to read this on your own time, but our protagonist, Nakoshi Susumu, lives in his car and is a known pathological liar. He isn't completely homeless, but he also has no job or no home, and he has no source of income. Nakoshi often questions his purpose of even being alive and only finds solace in driving his car. Also, he is very in love with his car, and without it, he literally just starts tweaking out and going insane. Anyways, he meets this doctor named Manabu Ito, who offered him 700,000 yen to perform a surgery on him. This surgery is called trepanation, in which a patient receives a hole in their skull that releases pressure on the cerebral cortex, or your brain, and allows more blood to flow into the brain. Now, Ito believes that in doing this procedure, a human will be able to achieve enlightenment and acquire a sixth sense, whether it be telepathy or to be able to see ghosts or clairvoyance. Ito really believes that this will happen, and the rest is history. You just have to read the manga. I won't spoil any more, so go read this, please. 10 out of 10 easily. The next manga we have is The Climber by Shinichi Sakamoto, and this was recommended to me by Kain. For some reason, this cover art reminds me of the Vagabond art style, so hopefully it's really good. By the way, if you don't know what Vagabond is, I made a whole video about it right here. Anyways, let's read The Climber. One word to describe this is just beautiful. I heard this manga is based on a true story of a legendary mountain climber in Japan, and this manga literally makes me want to climb, bro. Like, I want to climb the nearest mountain near to me. It does such an amazing job in capturing the feelings you may experience when doing something dangerous, such as scaling up a steep mountain that you could die at any moment. We follow Mori as he enters high school as a shut-in teen who rejects other humans. One guy refuses to leave him alone though, and followed him out of class to make a deal with him that if he climbs to the top of the school, he will finally leave him alone once and for all. And Mori is that bothered that he took bro up on the deal, and he sure as hell climbed to the top of that school with straight raw talent, with everyone watching. I won't spoil any further, but this introduction alone was amazing, bro, and I will definitely be reading this further in my free time. Solid 9 out of 10. The next series that was recommended to me is Grand Blue Dreaming by Kenji Inoue, and recommended to me by Aron. My first impression just from the cover art alone is this is a One Piece type anime, but in school maybe? I don't know, the title reminds me of Sanji and his goal of finding the all blue sea. Anyways, let's see what Aron recommended to me. Okay, just finished reading, and this manga was actually really funny. It's supposed to be about this diving club at this university by the sea in Japan. But as soon as our main character Iori steps onto this new university, he's immediately greeted by the upperclassmen of the diving club, butt booty naked. And just the conversation style and comedy of this manga is peak. Like, I love it. Like, look at this panel and this one. It's just so goofy. I generally had a good laugh reading this manga, so I recommend this manga to anyone just trying to read an interesting story while having a good laugh. Solid 7.5 out of 10. Our next recommendation comes from Ko Suzuki, and he said to read The Fable by Katsuhisa Minami. Just from the cover art, it looks like this might be a manga about an assassin or something, because I see a silenced pistol, but yeah, let's see. After reading this, it seems like I was almost right with my first impression. Follow this guy nicknamed The Fable, and he's a lethal hitman, bro. Like, he's so good at his job that people have nicknamed him The Fable. Like, damn. In his eyes, he's simply just a prodigy at killing people, and he's killed celebrities, CEOs, politicians, everyone on the social hierarchy. But despite all of that, when he finishes a job, he loves to just watch bad comedy on TV. After all this, he has to now blend into society because he won't be doing this job for a year. Bro, this story is actually super interesting, and I love how goofy they make his character, despite how cold his personality could be. This is a good 7.5 out of 10 so far. The next manga recommendation comes from Simran Kanwar. They told me to read I Am a Hero by Kengo Hanazawa. Bro, and just like the last recommendation, I see a guy with a gun, so this might be like him trying to be an assassin or something. I don't know. Hopefully this is good though, because it seems to be like a psychological manga. Oh, wow. I was nowhere near with my prediction of this manga, honestly, but I'm just gonna try to describe it. So our main character gets introduced as an incel shut-in, and he hates news anchor women, like, strongly. And he's teaching his younger brother, I assume, what type of woman to like and whatever. Then bam, his TV suddenly just shuts off and he realizes that it's 3 a.m. He starts seeing these scary figures around him and tries to protect himself. So in order to do that, he surrounds himself with manga. One of them actually being Homunculus, the same one that we read earlier in this video, which is so valid, by the way. Homunculus is amazing. I'm definitely gonna finish that soon. Anyways, he also pulls out a whole bolt action rifle until it finally hits 4 a.m. and he chills out. Not gonna lie, I want to see where this goes further, and I'm probably gonna have to see that. But for now, this is 6 out of 10. Next, we have a manga named Historie by Hitoshi Iwaki. This was recommended to me by CatchyName, which, bro, I just want to let you know that if no one ever told you, you have a very catchy name. Yeah, this looks super interesting to me already. I haven't read a single page, but I see a globe and a guy, and the manga is literally called History. I sent a 10 out of 10 from this one. Okay, I gave this a read, and it surprised me what it actually was truly about. So the story is based in the year 343 BC, in the time of the Great Persian Empire and the Golden Age of Greece. This guy with the boat helped out the legendary philosopher Aristotle, and his student escaped from the Persian Empire to eventually go back to Greece. Around this time in Europe, they believed the earth to be flat, so when Aristotle proposed the idea that the earth was round and a sphere, he was chased and pursued on ridiculous charges. Also, this manga is super gory, but it represents this time on earth and how truly barbaric they were. I like this manga so far. I'm giving this a solid 8 out of 10. Next, we have Out, written by Tatsuya Iguchi and illustrated by Makoto Mizuta. This was recommended to me by SaumonV, and off rip, this is in the seinen manga category, so definitely will possibly be up my alley. And the artwork reminds me of Baki a little bit. Let's give this bad boy a read. Please don't let me down, SaumonV. This was really good, and I'm gonna get right into this. So okay, we follow this 17-year-old boy named Iguchi, and he was in juvie for the past 6 months for being a commander in a gang. In juvie though, it seemed he went through insane torture, and he had to make thousands of small origami swans. Look at this panel. Periodically, bro would just go insane and start banging his head on the wall, and you can literally see the blood marks on the wall. And then he showed us this panel, and when I saw this panel, I was just like, damn, like this is insane for a 16-year-old little kid. They soon let him out on parole, and now he's trying to be a regular kid again and was adopted by his aunt. But on the way to the corner store, this guy looks at him weird and he gets into another fight. But showing that he's a changed man, before the fight, he makes the guy write on a piece of paper that he won't tell anyone. And the guy actually did it, which was really respectable. At the end of the fight, of course, our goat Iguchi won, but turns out the guy he beat was a commander of a local gang as well. And he actually asked Iguchi to not tell anyone that he lost. After this, they both had a lot of respect for each other and they became friends. Amazing introduction, man, and I actually would read this further very soon, so 9.5 out of 10. Next, we have a recommendation from Jones, and he told me to read Service Wars by Tsuran Atomune. By the way, Jones, I love your profile picture. W taste. Anyways, this manga looks pretty interesting already. I see a guy holding a fish, so I really don't know what to expect. Going in blind, I guess. Let's go. Okay, that was super interesting. This manga is basically just Blue Lock, but instead of trying to become the best soccer player, you're trying to become the best waiter. This manga is also super goofy and genuinely made me laugh, so solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Golden Kamuy by Satoru Noda. This is recommended to me by Sam. Bro, this is like the third manga recommended to me with a guy holding a gun in the cover art. This time though, it looks like bro's holding a World War I rifle. But bro, I'm actually surprised that so far, all your recommendations have not been terrible. Like, I would actually read these besides the incest one. But let's see if Golden Kamuy can carry on the streak. Yo, there's literally only 2 words to describe what I just read. 10 out of 10. Well, that's 4 words, but 2 10s right there. You guys get the point. This is the second 10 out of 10 so far, and man, I wanted to keep reading further, but I had to come back to make this video. Golden Kamuy is about this immortal soldier that fought in Japan's first international war with Russia, and he finds out about the secret stash of stolen gold, and the person that told him this story actually has a tattoo of where the gold can be found, and this tattoo was carved into him and 6 other prison soldiers by the gold thief as a map. And now our bad boy right here is trying to get that gold because he wants to pay for his dead friend's wife's eye surgery, if that makes sense. No joke, I recommend you guys give this a read. 100% a 10 out of 10. The next manga we have is Still Ball Run by Hirohiko Araki. This is recommended to me by Neamio, and I just want to say that you have great taste, Neamio. For those of you who don't know, Still Ball Run is the 7th part in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, and my second favorite part right behind part 5 with Giorno My Goat. Yeah, I read this one already, but I recommend everyone to read Jojo, bro. Please. It's a definite 10 out of 10. Everyone go read this bad boy, please. Next we have Massacre Happy Ending by Miyatsuki Arata. Bro, I'm butchering these names, I'm so sorry. And Barry too was the one who recommended this to me. From the cover art alone, it looks like this will be an interesting story, adding to the few we already read, but let's check this out. Yeah, as I predicted from this Tokyo Ghoul looking cover art, this is a pretty cool story so far. Our protagonist, Makoto, is a nice young man and he's a hard worker. He lives a normal life as a teenage boy in high school, is what the reader will presume. But in reality, he works all these jobs for his dying sister to be able to recover her from a coma. His father, on the other hand, is an alcoholic, so all he does is be on Makoto when he comes home. And this panel right here is what made me not like this guy's dad. Bro said this about his own daughter. Like, that's crazy. Anyways, bro prayed to the gods that day and told them to not make him and his sister live another day. That's going to be so painful. And he got stuck in a time loop because pretty much the gods responded. And the only way to make time progress and to get another day is to kill someone every single day. So that's what he does. I know this manga is gonna get even better as I read it, so 9 out of 10. The next manga recommendation we have is Kamen Rider Kuuga by Hidenori Ishida. This was recommended from Cheese Grader 05. So far, cool art. It reminds me of the Power Rangers. Let's see though. This one was pretty good. Kamen Rider Kuuga is a story that follows Ichijo, a detective in a Japanese police department, and he's honestly just super cool and smart. It can be a bit gory, but really good read. 7 out of 10 from me. Lilrobert Lopez recommended that I read Nisekoi by Naoshi Komi. Finally, man, this seems to be our first romance manga recommendation, and no, I'm not counting that incest manga, okay? Anyways, let's give this a good read. Not gonna lie, I haven't read a romance manga in a long while, so maybe I'm biased, but this actually hit. So our main character, Ichijo, is the son of a Yakuza leader. The Yakuza is basically just a gang in Japan, by the way. Anyways, Ichijo made a promise to a girl about 10 years ago when he was little. And when they meet again, they will unlock this pendant and get married because they loved each other so much. He carried the key and he carried the lock. So now as a teen going to high school, still remembers this promise and the girl whom he made the promise to. But surprisingly, the girl who he made the promise to is actually one of his classmates. While he doesn't know that she's the girl that he fell in love with, she knows that he was the guy. So it's a kind of weird dynamic, and she's just so shy to tell him the whole entire time. Also, he had to date his rival gang leader's daughter to have peace. That was kind of funny, and it adds like another layer to the whole story. This manga is super goofy and good romance tale, so 8 out of 10. Next we have Under Ninja by Kengo Hanazawa. This was recommended to me by Lilrobert again, and bro made 2 recommendations, but I didn't say 1 per person this time, so I'll let it slide. I'll read bro's rec real quick. Also, he is not the only person who recommended twice, so it's fair game. So after giving this a quick little read, I will say I love the art style and how mythical they made ninjas out to be. If all this is historically facts in this manga and everything is like actually correct for the real world, this would make me even more interested in this manga. But so far, 7.5 out of 10. Aritra recommended to me that I read Kagurabachi by Takeru Hokazono. This series has gotten super popular a couple months ago, and I saw a bunch of memes surrounding it with this guy being overpowered or something. But yeah, this is definitely not the first time I was recommended this, so a shout out to Aritra for forcing me to finally give it a read. Okay, I see why this gotten so popular in the shonen category of manga. The first chapter was really good. Our main character is the son of the most legendary swordsmith of all time, and eventually, instead of becoming a swordsmith like his father, he becomes an insane swordsman, aiming to not let evil people wield katanas. And something happened to his father, and it was done by an evil organization or something. It's pretty cool though, and I give Kagurabachi a solid 8.5 out of 10. Next, we are reading Bastard by Carnaby Kim. This was recommended to me by Thomas. Okay, first of all, Thomas, this is a manga manga recommendation video, bro. Bro recommended me a whole webtoon manhwa. I'm gonna let it slide just this one time, but like the video if you want to see me make a manhwa version of this video, okay? Anyways, let's give this a read. Okay, Thomas, you clearly did not follow the one rule I asked, which was to just recommend me manga, but this was actually pretty interesting. So to explain in short, our main character kills someone in his neighborhood every time his dad goes off for a business trip. I can see how this could get good or interesting, so solid 6 out of 10. You got a point deducted because it was a manhwa, bro. Thomas recommended me another one. He asked that I read Sweet Home. Oh my gosh, once again this is another manhwa, bro. I'm gonna be fair to the other people who actually recommended me manga, so I can't read this one, Thomas. But Thomas, I got you the next time I make a manhwa recommendation video. You will be the first one that I read, I promise. Anyways, let's move on. Next one we have is Sakamoto Days by Yuto Suzuki. This was recommended to me by Jorgis. I heard this was pretty good and it became very popular recently, so shout out to Jorgis for this recommendation and making me read this. From what I know, this old guy is like a retired assassin or something. Let's see. Wow. I mean, I can't even give that less than a 10 out of 10. It was super refreshing to read and finally felt like something new. I can see why a lot of people love this new manga, bro. I also love the dynamic Sakamoto has with his wife and family. In a short summary though, not too much to spoil any of you guys because this is a must read. Sakamoto used to be a part of a hitman organization and he was one of the best, but then he fell in love and had a family and got out of shape, but he is still the same Sakamoto and he's still a crazy good assassin. He literally went back and wiped out the whole hitman organization because they threatened to kill him and his family. Again, 10 out of 10, nothing more needs to be said. Goodnight Punpun by Inyo Asano is the next manga that was recommended to me. This recommendation was given by Wiggle. I love your name. I've heard this manga name before, but I never knew what it was about, so shout out to Wiggle for giving me his recommendation. Let's go. What the actual hell did I just read? I didn't expect our main character to be a literal sock or Snapchat ghost, bro. And before we even get into that, these characters are just so weird. Punpun is literally a ghost thing and everyone just treats it normally, and his dad is abusive towards his mom and eventually tries to kill his mom for some reason. Punpun's teacher just goes crazy when someone doesn't do their homework, and Punpun's principal loves to play hide and seek with his secretary during class hours as a sport, and he just geeks out like a little girl because he loves hide and seek. This manga is getting a 10 out of 10. I love reading it and I really wonder where the story will go next, so I might read it in my own time. The next manga we have here is Boarding School Juliet by Yosuke Kaneda. This was recommended by the legendary B. Poiling, my goat. This looks like a romance anime and I'll trust B. Poiling's decision because he's another cool manga YouTuber that you guys should check out. Anyways, let's give this bad boy a read. Yo, I'm not even saying this in a biased way, but this was actually one of the best romance manga I've ever read. Granted, I haven't read many though. Basically, these two rival countries have an island in the middle of them where a boarding school exists. One side is called the White Cats and led by Juliet Persia, and the other side is called Black Dogs, led by Romeo Inuzuka. And they're kind of following the Romeo and Juliet thing, if you notice. Anyways, Inuzuka actually secretly likes Persia ever since they were little. Puts up a front to maintain the rivalry of both sides and to protect Persia's pride. Bro, I recommend you all go read this. It's pretty good for a romance manga. Solid 8.5 out of 10. This next recommendation comes from, I don't know how to say this name, but this is my good friend, the GOAT Rachel, and she told me to read Banana Fish by Akimi Yoshida. I've seen this manga title in the community for a very long time, so shout out to Rachel for finally forcing me to read this bad boy. Anyway, let's give it a read. Wow, so this was actually pretty interesting. Banana Fish begins with the scene of these soldiers in the Vietnam War, and one of them just goes AWOL and kills all his allies. But then when he gets neutralized, he then says that he saw a banana fish. Fast forward, now we're in 1980s New York, and our main character named Ash Lynx is a gang leader who deals with this mob boss named Dino, who has seemed to be grooming Ash since he was a little boy. So our man Ash has a very traumatic past, and this panel gives me the creeps. Dino calls him sweetheart, and it just literally makes me cringe, bro. It's alluding to Ash's and Dino's weird history. Anyways, Ash ends up investigating further into the drug used in the Vietnam War that was supposedly used on his brother, and the users of this drug ends up always saying banana fish. In investigating this drug, Ash meets Eiji Okumura, and they form one of the best friendships in manga. He also gets chased by the government and the mafia, not to leave that out. So far, a really interesting story, and I see why so many people love this manga. I'll definitely read this later. Solid 9.5 out of 10. Our next manga recommendation comes from my sweet, lovely, amazing girlfriend, and she asks that I read Ouran High School Host Club. My girlfriend can never be wrong, so when she says this is good, it's most likely the absolute truth. The cover art reminds me of Clannad, if you guys ever read that. But without further ado, let's give this bad boy a read. Bro, no bias at all. 10 out of 10. Besides the fact that my sweet, caring, amazing girlfriend recommended this to me, this was actually really good. I understand now why this series was so popular in the first place. Our main character, named Haruhi Fujioka, grew up very poor and dealt with her mother dying at a very early age. So when she eventually worked her way up, getting into one of the best schools in their area, she tried to make the most of it. But she ran into what was called the host club at her school, and it was a group of 6 really good looking guys who actually did not realize she was a girl until later on, and basically forced her to rizz up other girls because she broke their vase that costed like $1,000. This series was really fun to read, and I definitely will read it later. 10 out of 10. The next manga I was recommended is called Tomodachi Game. This was sent in by Akan, the GOAT. Tomodachi Game seems to be a super popular series. I'm surprised this is my first time hearing about it. Why does bro look like the MC from Code Geass mixed with Light Yagami from Death Note? Anyways, let's give it a read. This manga was beautiful. It follows a strong theme of friendship over money, and this group of friends seemingly got kidnapped and put into a game where they have to trust each other to all come out scotch-free. But if you choose to betray your friends and lie to them, there's a large benefit for you because you can then take all the money to yourself. This is like a super enticing story, and it really tests their friendship. And if you're a fan of Liar Game or Squid Game, then you would love this manga series. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. This next one comes from Cheese Grater 05 again. He recommended that I read One Piece. Alright guys, so now we're gonna have to take a quick stroll to my channel. I only have like 20 videos, by the way, but if you scroll down here, you can maybe see that I read One Piece. It's literally my profile picture as well. Anyways, this is a 10 out of 10 obviously. If you haven't read One Piece, then you're missing out big time. The next manga we have is My Dear Self with Malice Aforethought by Hajime Inoyoru. This was recommended to me by Lucas Strong. This looks like a psychological manga that I'll really get into, and I love the cover art already. It's either going to be super deep or super scary, I feel like. Let's see. Okay, so after reading the first part of this manga, I was like, oh, this is gonna be super lame. The main character is just some kid that was possibly a gooner and had no substance. Later in the manga, he woke up 3 days later after being blacked out drunk, and his life was so much better than before. He got a whole girlfriend now, and supposedly he beat the school bully in a fight, and he seemed like a whole different person when he was blacked out. But then I saw this panel right here, and they casually just dropped that he's the son of a serial killer, and alluding to the fact that while he was blacked out for 3 days, he also killed somebody. Yeah, this went from a 6 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10. Super interesting read. Next we have Joshi Koe by Jiro Matsumoto. This was sent to me by me. I love your name, bro. Anyways, the cover art looks like very cyberpunkish, so let's give this bad boy a read. Not gonna lie, this was a snooze fest for me. I just don't think it was my type of manga, but I feel like a lot of people would enjoy this. I will say though, I love the art style. Solid 5 out of 10 for me. Next we have The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan by Jockey. Very straight to the point title. This was sent to me by Amoroji. Now let's give this bad boy a read. I mean, based on the title, it's safe to assume that the most notorious talker will run the world's greatest clan. Okay, I'm not funny at all. Whoa, I'm not gonna lie, back-to-back snooze fest. But I know many people would probably enjoy this more than me, but it's just not my type. In my opinion, 5 out of 10 again. This next one comes from PL, and they asked if I could read A Second Goodbye to You by Tanaka Tomo. This looks like a romance manga, might even be a boy love one. I personally am not a fan of those, but I know many are, but I'll still give it a read. Let's go. Bro, this one was actually really good. Our main character, Hinata, was an artist and had this artist friend named Sora. But Sora suddenly left a note saying he's leaving their high school to go explore the world so he could get better at art. But come to find out 8 years later that his friend Sora actually died that day. And the same day as the funeral, Hinata was killed by one of Sora's artworks, literally stabbed to death like crazy. Hinata was then somehow sent back in time 180 days before Sora died, and he now will try to prevent his death. Honestly, not a bad concept at all. I thought this was going to be some boy love manga, but it wasn't. Solid 7 out of 10. This next manga comes from Microwave, very creative name. They asked me to read Jigoku no Alice by Jiro Matsumoto, also known as Alice in Hell. Sounds very interesting already, not gonna lie. Let's give this bad boy a read. Okay, not that bad. The beginning scene was something. May have to blur out that because that is just wild. But after that, we got to understand that Alice is a robot and she's accompanied by this really cool sniper girl. And they saved this random lady in the first chapter from being assaulted by this group of guys. Really interesting so far, so I'm giving this a solid 7.5 out of 10. Next, we have High School DxD by Ichi Isubumi. And this was recommended to me by Felipe Van Marique. Oh, bro. Your whole profile is so funny to me. But I've heard this title before. I never knew what it was about or gave it a read before, but it seems to be super popular. So shout out to Felipe Van Marique for recommending this to me. Alright, so I was about a chapter deep and I have been told by my sweet beautiful girlfriend to not read this any further, and I completely understand why. If you're a hornball, go read this, but otherwise nothing out of 10. I'm not giving this a rating, chat. This is like borderline hentai and I said no hentai. Alright, the next manga is Dragon the Hero by Gregorius Yamada. This was recommended to me by Promedial Forces. Looks pretty odd so far. I don't know what to predict from the cover art alone, so let's just give this a read. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I'll just be blunt right here and say 4 out of 10. This manga is literally as the title suggests, and it's just not really my type. Next, we have Garachikuta by Kei Urana, and this was sent in by Bia. Looks like this manga has been on Shonen Jump, so actually might be a good one. Let's go. Guys, I was hoping and praying, and yes, this is another 10 out of 10. Holy moly. So our protagonist Rudo grew up in the slums of his town that is split into two, the slums and the rich side. His side of town is often referred to as trash, and his whole life he's just been scavenging, throwing away items and reselling it for cash, because in his philosophy, in his mind, another person's trash is basically another man's treasure, and he has the ability to find value in what others throw away. And I feel like this just reflects on his resourcefulness and his resilience, in my opinion. Rudo is also the son of a serial killer, similar to a manga we read earlier, and he gets accused of murdering his guardian figure named Retko, and from there he just starts tweaking out. I love these panels so much because he just starts saying how ugly the world is and how actually trash everyone is, yet everyone treats him like trash. Anyways, he gets thrown into the underworld where everything related to trash goes to, and supposedly where his father went years ago. As I said, solid 10 out of 10. I definitely want to finish this, bro. The next manga we have is called Holy Land by Koji Mori. This was recommended to me by Dux Des Muller Biner, which I just want to say I love your profile picture, bro. This manga is a seinen, so you might see some very adult themes, but let's give it a read. Well, this was pretty interesting to say the least. It centers around boxing and street fighting, and this random kid has seen to master the art of boxing that he's so non-intimidating on the outside. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good, and I might actually read this later. I thought it would be something lame, but solid 8 out of 10. The next manga series we have is called Billy Bat by Takashi Nagasaki. This was recommended to me by the same Dux Des Muller Viner, and once again, I love your profile picture, bro. Let's give this a read. So this was actually pretty entertaining to me. So Billy Bat is a character this manga creator made, and he finds out that he actually did not create this and he plagiarized somehow, and he didn't want the previous owner of the design to think that he was just blatantly stealing. So in his research to hunt and find the original creator of the Billy Bat character, he discovers a very dark history of this character, and it's linked to multiple murders. Very interesting story, so solid 8.5 out of 10. Next we have Sengoku Komachi Koratan Noku Giga by Hijime Sawada, and this was recommended to me by Raul Armas. Let's just jump right into this. pretty decent manga. So basically this nerd girl who was obsessed with agriculture in the Sengoku period of Japan, one day is walking home from school and then she wakes up in the Sengoku period of Japan, and now she has to use her modern agriculture expertise to help the village grow crops and prosper. Really cool concept even for isekai like this. I'm giving this a solid 7 out of 10. The second to last manga we have is Solos in a Cage by Shiro Moria, and this was recommended to me by Zen. This looks pretty interesting already, and I think I heard this manga's name before once, but hopefully it's a banger. Let's go. Okay, so this bad boy was pretty interesting. I didn't like the art style all that much though, but the plot was that these people are kept inside a massive wall on some Attack on Titan stuff, and they live in a lawless city, and this little girl and her brother have been abandoned there for 6 months by their parents, until one day they try to escape thanks to some other prisoners, and the little girl drops her younger brother on accident and Loki has a mental breakdown. Very interesting and very dark, but solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. Guys, we made it. Final recommendation comes from my close friend Noah, or Tanji, and he asked me to read Kengan Ashura. Sadly Noah, I realized that I already watched this entire series, bro, on Netflix. But this is an amazing recommendation, and if you have not watched or read Kengan, then please go do that right now, because it's super fun to watch or read. Especially if you like shows like Baki or Dragon Ball, it's amazing. Solid 9 out of 10 series. And with that, we conclude this project finally. That took me a whole month to finish, and that I started 3 months ago. I appreciate to everyone who just sent me a recommendation, and I hope everyone enjoyed this video just as I did making it. And hopefully you found a manga that you like. Go ahead and hit the like button for me, because I put a ton of effort into making this video. And please subscribe, because I love the manga community and I really want you guys to watch more of my videos. Also, go ahead and recommend me some manga down below, because I may make another one of these in the near future. Definitely not anytime soon though, because these take super long to make. I'll leave you guys now, and thanks for watching this super freaking long video. I'm gonna go take a nap now. Until next time.